Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome back to our weekly webcast reviewing the cryptocurrencies market on behalf of Apex Signals. We've had a relatively calm week over the past 7 days. As you can see here on the chart, which is tracking the overall capitalization of all of the major cryptocurrencies, we've had a slight downward trend after 2 weeks of fairly stable upward trending. However, it hasn't been too bad at all, considering around 14 days of fairly stable upward trajectory. We had a little bit of a dip over the weekend, but we've come back again at the beginning of the week. And although we are below the 500 billion overall market cap at just over 460 billion, I think we can generally say it's been the calmest week in quite some time in cryptocurrency markets. And we'll wait and see, but I personally think that barring any big announcements or big regulatory issues, then I think we might be in for a period of relative calm over the next month. That's obviously setting myself up for a fall, but let's wait and see what happens. We have a quick look at Bitcoin here. We can see that following a dip at the weekend, we're back up to 10,700. Now that's about 1,100 down from where we were around this time last week, but within the context of the volatility over the last 3 to 4 weeks. First with that fairly steep downward curve, and then with a couple of weeks of strong recovery, that can again be considered within the slightly outlying market of cryptocurrencies, relatively calm. So we'll see how that progresses over the next few weeks. I personally think we might see a period of stability trading within a range of 8,000 to 12,000 for Bitcoin. Now again, that might sound strange to you, those of you who are more experienced in traditional financial markets, but within our context, and especially that of the last couple of months, I think that can be considered relatively peaceful, but again, I could be completely wrong, so let's wait and see. But my tip right now is we'll see a bit of channel trading over the next few weeks. The big winner this week has been Neo. Now I don't know how much you guys know about Neo, but it's similar to Ethereum in the sense that it's a blockchain platform which is for building decentralized applications, or dApps, and also smart contracts that are interlinked, because the dApps usually use the smart contract technology to be created. The big difference between Neo and Ethereum is that while Ethereum has its own programming language that has to be learned specifically for the platform, Neo supports several of the most common programming languages, so developers who want to build dApps on the Neo platform don't have to go and learn a whole new language to do so. It's referred to often as the Chinese Neo because it comes out of China, and it's supposedly backed by, or relatively backed by the Chinese government. It's not an official backing, but it's said to have support there, which was interesting within the context of the Chinese government being one of the strictest on cryptocurrencies in terms of regulation. ICOs are completely banned within the territory of mainland China, and the government there has generally been quite draconian in its approach. But Neo is a Chinese company and or Chinese organization, and that's one of the big strengths of this particular cryptocurrency, because obviously China is a huge market, and this is the more popular alternative actually to Ethereum within China. And we can see that it's gone up 17% over the last few days. It's now trading at around $140. And it's been one of the few success stories over the beginning of 2018 in terms of currently being at a higher price now than it actually was at the start. I came across an interesting chart today, and this shows the percentage increase and decrease of the top 10 cryptos since January the 18th. And we can see that Neo is the big winner within that context. It's up 87%. Ethereum's up 18.56%. We can see Litecoin has a very small gain as well. And I think one of the takeaways we can ascertain from this is that utility cryptocurrencies, and I'm a big fan of utility cryptocurrencies myself, and most of my personal investments are there, though I do have a little bit of Bitcoin and Litecoin for the record. But I think utility cryptocurrencies are, in the short term, a more viable bet in terms of traction, because the volatility at the moment is works against the currency cryptocurrencies in terms of being a viable alternative to fiat currencies. And obviously we hope that in the future that will change, but right now the practical reality is that you can't really buy your newspaper or your milk with Bitcoin, because there's such a big difference from one day to the next in the price. Whereas the utility cryptocurrencies, because they're based on paying for the service within the platform, and they're only spent within that ecosystem, then it's a little bit more of a natural fit short term. And I think the results we can see here with Ethereum and Neo demonstrate that. Ripple is obviously down quite significantly, close to 60%, and I'm actually a big fan of Ripple, and I think it has a bright future, but it's obviously not had a bright beginning to 2018. But I think, again, I'd like to reiterate that for me personally, the short-term outlook is probably brighter for utility cryptocurrencies than currency cryptocurrencies, and my personal investment strategy is based on that. Okay, that's pretty much all we have time for today. I hope actually next week will again be a calm one to report on, because I think that's what we need. I think I mentioned it last week as well. We need a little bit of a period of stability now, for markets to take a deep breath and consolidate after the hectic couple of months at the end of last year and the beginning of this year. So I very much hope that we'll have a boring podcast or webcast next week with not too much happening. But you never know. Let's see what happens. And I'll speak to you all again next week. Bye for now.